We're so back! I am joined today by my lovely, my beautiful co-host. You know her well, Sonic the Budgie. Hi, Sonic. Athena is in a little trouble. She got under the couch, was chewing something under there. Anyway, today we are back with Death Battle. And a few months ago, that would have been a thought impossible. I remember Ben Singer was posting about possible alternate names, all this kind of stuff. It's been a few months. For those of you who only watch my Death Battle reactions, I'm still at my parents' house because moving is taking forever. I had emergency surgery because I swallowed a foreign object, and it was part of a plastic fork. It was disgusting. I am going to KomoriCon next month. You can see me there. I'm going to be running a panel on villains. My usual Pokemon fan gathering wasn't approved this year, possibly because it's run so many years and they wanted to give other people a shot, which looks great. I got absolutely no problem with that. Anyway, today we have Death Battle for the first time in months. The last one was I should have just kept it up because it was the one I used for sound check. Okay, where'd you go? 9 months ago, Galactus versus Unicron. 9 months.
This battle is sponsored by...
Yeah! And I have been spoiled on next time. Thank you, the
Bardock,
Raptor.
the ostracized Viltrumite, and the doomed Saiyan.
Yeah!
Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Yeah! Clash!
Omni-Man, Earth's once greatest hero.
Once.
Alongside the Guardians of the Globe, he protected the world from all manner of threats. And then, in a single day,
He was the biggest
horribly
threat.
wrong.
Why, Omni-Man? How, Omni-Man? Who, Omni-Man?
Who indeed? Champion of Earth, best-selling author J.K. Simmons, yet it was all a charade, with his murderous rampage only brought to a halt
Best-selling
thanks to
author,
his
huh?
own son.
It all starts with his home planet, Viltrum, which I hear is a totally lovely utopia.
Through brutal mortal combat.
With a K! Or, wait, no, that came later.
Viltrumites
Yes.
are among the most powerful beings in the universe.
He's the heir to
Even
the
more so
Emperor?
after they purge the weaker members of their species. As a vanguard of the
No,
Viltrumite
wow. Okay, that
Empire,
explains.
Omni-Man infiltrated Earth as Nolan Grayson, expected to prepare the planet for Imperial assimilation.
Which should have been easy, since he's got your classic strongman superpowers and he's basically invulnerable, easily knocking around asteroids the size of Texas.
He can fly at unbelievable speeds, soaring from Earth to the planet Thraxa in under 1 week.
Nice,
Thraxa
nice.
is, quote, a couple galaxies away, give or take. So a
Give or
minimum of 2 galaxies. Beyond the Milky Way's neighbor Andromeda is the lesser-known Triangulum Galaxy, which is over 2.7 million light-years
Okay,
away.
this was in the-
Reaching it in under 1 week means
preview.
Omni-Man must have flown over 142 million times faster than light.
Oh, and Viltrumites can't breathe in space, so he held his breath the whole way. And it's not like he was in a
Shit.
rush. He was on a soul-searching trip, contemplating the significance of smashing his own son's face in.
Yeah.
Think, Nolan, think.
Yeah, this is why I'm never having kids.
You're missing out. But according to another Viltrumite, Thetis, a bunch of other Viltrumites who actually were
I remember people in the trailer analysis video that they did a few weeks ago were surprised at that. Because every time Boomstick brings up that he has a daughter, people forget that. I don't get it.
in a hurry, flew to Viltrum across the Virgo supercluster in less than 24 hours.
That's over
Nice.
20 billion times faster than light.
You don't really need to rush anyway. The older a Viltrumite gets, the slower they age.
According to the Invincible Handbook, Nolan is over 2,000 years old. And regardless of age, Viltrumites don't suffer
Hang on a
muscle
second.
that's over 2,000 years old.
That's the Final Fantasy VII menu. Isn't it?
And regardless of age, Viltrumites don't suffer muscle fatigue like humans do, so they rarely ever tire out.
Seriously? He's got parenting easy mode on, and he couldn't even handle that.
Easy
I would've killed
mode?
for that back when my daughter was born.
Well, you would have to be a Viltrumite first. A Viltrumite's body contains smart atoms, which they subconsciously manipulate. This cellular structure can effectively
Okay, smart atoms remember their normal states in relation to their environment, and can be coded to react to changes in that environment. For example, atoms in a muscle can ensure that the molecules behave normally even under extreme forces. Or atoms in the air can be forced to maintain their relative positions, thus acting like an impenetrable wall. Atoms in the air? So, like, if you're bleeding, it can form the shape of a vein?
call certain states of being regardless of their present environment, reacting to changes at an
Conquest smart atoms resisted attacks from Adam Eve, who can alter matter at an
atomic level to perform the impossible.
Yeah, like surviving your intestines getting ripped out, or even more scary.
Well, I mean, it happens to the best of us, and by best of us, I mean, you remember the werewolf death battle? That was freaking awesome.
Ripping out your whole beard all at once? Ugh, only a Viltrumite could pull off something that disturbing.
Nolan is incredibly tough,
The
but if he
disgusted
faces
lady,
superior
isn't that
forces, his
from,
smart atoms can adjust to make him even
Gintoki?
stronger by comparison.
Or Gintama.
This is why Viltrumites are considered invincible.
Most weapons in the universe can't even scratch a Viltrumite like him.
Even a ship's cannon like this one can't take down a Viltrumite, and it obliterated a massive solar disk nearly half the size of a star.
Speaking of planets, he's strong enough to shatter one by flying straight through it. A planet so big it has a whole ring around it.
The Roche limit factor dictates the size a celestial body must be in
Oh, hey, I know the Roche limit. I think we all learned that from Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
order to disperse orbiting material as a ring. In short, in Earth-sized
Earth-sized planets can only sustain such a ring temporarily, while Viltrum's ring existed for thousands of years. I know Earth had a ring at one point. It's like near the dawn of life, I think it was. Also, my penchant for stopping and analyzing things is why I didn't try to record the live stream earlier. Also, it was at 10 a.m. and I didn't get to sleep till like after 6, so insomnia sucks, kids.
planet can't support such a ring, meaning this one must be much larger.
And don't get me started on how the ring is actually made up of dead bodies because, spoilers? Just go read the comic.
If Roche isn't doing it for you, this planet also supports 5 moons in its orbit, and even the smallest is a perfect sphere, meaning its own gravity shaped it. At minimum, a moon like that must have a diameter of 600 kilometers, or 370 miles. Comparing this
noticed
to
they
the
said perfect
planet's
sphere, but there
diameter,
seemed to be
we
a
can
lot,
tell this world is nearly 14 times larger than Earth.
Or it was before, kablam.
Now, Omni-Man does have his weaknesses.
Can do
Monsters
Fortnite
like
can't do
Ragnar's can pierce Viltrumite flesh, and he's extremely sensitive to a specific high-pitched frequency, which can destabilize his body's equilibrium.
But his real weakness turned out to be, you guessed it, fatherhood. Thanks to his son Mark, Nolan began to re-examine his perspective and his place in the universe. He settled
other
down in a
kids
new
out
place,
there
got himself a new
2,000
job,
years
and even had a new kid with his new wife. Who's a
there we go.
bug? The bug lady? He banged a bug.
Why, Omni-Man? How, Omni-Man?
Hey, everyone deals with
Also,
parenting
why is
stress in
the
their own
easy
way.
to
When Nolan was lecturing to Mark about how insignificant people are, Mark wasn't the only one he was trying to convince, if you catch my drift.
Nolan Grayson's real mission isn't planetary conquest or saving the innocent.
So they're admitting they got his characterization wrong. Well, not necessarily. Because I know he did say that he cared for Debbie as a pet, but the comment section in that video was saying he was lying to himself.
It's to discover if a violent man who can break the world can also be a good father.
Godspeed, Omni-Man.
You're gonna need it. Well, maybe not the speed.
In the far reaches of the cosmos
don't think
laid a
we
world
want
with a
him for
people
that.
like no other, born and raised to do just one thing:
Saiyans, a proud warrior people from the planet Vegeta, ruled by, King Vegeta. Well, narcissist much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their pride blinded them to the
By the way, how many Vegetas have there been? Like, there's King Vegeta, there's Prince Vegeta, who we all know. Is there like a long line?
truth of their impending doom. But perhaps one Saiyan represented the best of them, even during their waning glory days.
Bardock! He's cool, he's crude, he's got a bad attitude, and if he goes apeshit, you're totally screwed.
Apeshit,
and
yeah.
guess what? He's father of Goku.
Oh wow, I never would have
And
guessed.
Raditz.
What a curveball.
But no one cares
So what does
about
that make
Raditz.
Turles?
Who?
Bardock was a cold-blooded killer, ruthlessly conquering planets in service to the Saiyans' true overseer, Lord Frieza.
He
They
conquers
didn't just
planets and
conquer
doesn't
planets,
degrade
they
of
wiped
anything.
out every living thing,
Roxas.
leaving Frieza uninhabited rocks to sell away. Bardock was an asshole. Well, until he wasn't.
Bardock's story has evolved over the years, with multiple iterations to draw from.
Including one where he's a brilliant scientist.
But only one is considered officially canon.
I've seen people theorize that, because obviously that was a intentional translation change, but I've seen people theorize that if you want to make it work, like if you want to work with dub canon, you could say that it was strategist and Vegeta just misunderstood.
Bardock's demeanor began to shift when he met and eventually married fellow warrior Guinea, and had two sons, Raditz and Kakarot.
Shouldn't it be Gine because it's aubergine? I don't know.
No, Bardock didn't go totally soft. He was still a ruthless warrior.
Yeah.
You know that iconic red headband of his? It's stained with the blood of his fallen friends.
That stinks so
Hardcore.
Bardock
bad.
could fly, move faster than light, and was
Absolutely.
naturally adept in
Turn
using
around
his
now.
ki as an explosive weapon.
AKA shooting lasers from his hands.
Yeah.
True to his brutal screw you nature, Bardock's moves are all about overwhelming power. His final spirit cannon is like a ki-powered bazooka.
They're actually giving him future sight, even though it never helped.
His rebellion hammer punch ignites enemies on contact, and his rebellion spear basically turns him into a supercharged battering ram. The guy has
Awesome.
no chill. He will run you over, break your spine, light you on fire, and then move on to the next guy. All in a day's
is that
work for a
flaming
Saiyan.
girl?
Marriage didn't change that. While Bardock cared for Guinea, in fact being one of few Saiyans of his time to actually have a romantic partner, he was still no family man.
Well, okay, because I remember in Xenoverse, it's kind of treated as weird that he doesn't go see his kid. Like, the other Saiyans are getting on him for that. So, you would think that seeing your, I guess, mate would fall under the same,
Man. Like most
classification.
Saiyans, he saw his sons as nothing more than future soldiers.
Bardock was a low-class warrior, so it was unlikely his kids would grow up to be anything more than battlefield fodder.
But they would still possess the Saiyans' power, a transformation that was the key to their
Ever actually been
planetary
defined?
devastation.
Big monkey!
Under the light of a
doesn't
full
seem to be
moon, a
based on
Saiyan with a
power.
tail manifests the Uzaru.
This great ape form
Those are-
increases Bardock's power tenfold, turning him into an unstoppable kaiju. Quick, someone call Yajirobe!
While some Saiyans can maintain control over this berserker form, low-class warriors like Bardock don't receive the same level of training as those of higher birth. Prince Vegeta's control is so precise he can speak while changed, but Bardock cannot.
Hell, it's questionable if he even remembers everything that happens when he goes full tilt gorilla. The Saiyan strategy is pretty much just monkey see, monkey smash.
Despite being low class, Bardock's power level nearly matched that of King Vegeta, who could destroy multiple planets at once. At about this time, King Vegeta's power level was around 10,000.
Yeah,
Nice.
we know power.
Okay, Vegeta's power level of 18,000 in the Saiyan Saga, having long surpassed King Vegeta's, supports the dub's claim. Bardock also survived a one-sided fight with Dodoria, whose power level was 22,000. We all remember Dodoria here on this channel. We all watched my Pokemon Legends Arceus playthrough. We remember what I named my Overquill.
levels are kinda janky. Nobody can agree on what the number really means.
Outside of his fight with gas, Bardock doesn't really show any high-end feats in canon, but we can use power levels to compare him to other characters with similar levels to better understand his potential.
Like when his son fought Prince Vegeta. What's the scouter say about his power level? It's over 8,000. Yeah, the dub changed it to fit Vegeta's lip flaps, but we only cover the cold hard truth.
But 8 and 9, 8, 9, it's the same mouth movement.
Damn it.
According to this movie pamphlet, Goku's power level between his fight with Vegeta and his trip to Namek was 10,000. This lines up with that previous reading and puts him on par with Bardock. Goku's training during the trip eventually raised him to 90,000 upon arrival, but this gives us a clear window.
Yeah, early in the trip, he had to dodge a bunch of incoming asteroids and blast his ship away from a star, which is impressive considering the speed involved.
The planet Namek is
That's wild.
outside Earth's quadrant of the universe, and it took his ship 6 days to make the journey. Traveling a quarter of the universe's diameter would put the ship over 9.5 trillion times the speed of light.
And Goku
They're
would have had to
giving him
keep
his
up with that kind of
ship,
speed
huh?
to do all that other stuff.
Makes sense given far weaker characters could reach the moon in a fraction of a second. Should be trivial enough for Bardock.
All this speed and power meant when Bardock and his team assaulted the planet Cereal, they went, cheerio!
Bardock ravaged the planet, annihilating its people, until he found 2 survivors, a mother and her child. Some may call it weakness, others a moment of clarity, but Bardock was suddenly reminded of his wife and recently born son. He chose to spare the 2, and even pushed himself far past his limits.
The healers in Gas were comparable to elite Frieza soldiers such as Zarbon or the Ginyu Force. Bardock's mid-battle strength increase was also compared to Great Ape, implying a 10 times boost. I wonder, like, is Zenkai Boost going to come into play here? Because Bardock does not have access to sensu beans and it would take him time to heal up. But it is possible that he could get that boost without healing. And because I don't know if it's actually part of the recovery process or it happens like as you're lying there bleeding, you know? I guess I've never really looked into exactly how the Zenkai Boost works. Like, does it happen when you've recovered? Like, or, like, is it a slow build-up?
To protect them from his own Frieza Force allies, who taunted that Frieza had dire plans for the Saiyans' future.
This moment changed Bardock, making him more appreciative of his family and cautious of Frieza. When all the Saiyans were called back to planet Vegeta for mysterious reasons, he had a hunch something was up. So before his final stand, smashing through hundreds of soldiers before coming face to face with the tyrant, he sent his youngest kid away for protection. A choice that allowed his son to thrive.
But instead
and
it's
hey,
like
that's what good
very
parents do.
small number
A
of them.
choice that would have a greater significance than Bardock could ever imagine.
And then Dildo Dickhead blew them all up and he died. Or did he?
monkeys.
Bardock got killed so freaking hard he got blasted back in time.
Is that actually
He was
canon?
pulled away by these 2.
Oh, if they're using... Oh, no! Bardock briefly survived Frieza's supernova attack in this continuity, an attack with a yield of 20 quetatons of TNT. As a Super Saiyan, he'd also scale above Super Saiyan Vegeta, whose destruction of Arlia equaled 4.5 quetatons. Come on. Was Vegeta in Super Saiyan form at the time? No, he wasn't. He didn't have that ability yet. He wouldn't get that ability for years. So no, that was not Super Saiyan Vegeta who blew up Arlia. That was regular Vegeta. That was base Vegeta. That was pre-Earth Vegeta.
Who miscalculated and misplaced him incorrectly in the time stream.
Blah, 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 non-canon, whatever. He survived. And when he realized what happened, he got so unbelievably pissed off, he went Super Saiyan. What?
All right, this is very much an alternate universe what-if scenario, and it is jarring. But think about it. The Super Saiyan form is not achieved through training alone. It requires dedication, introspection, victory, failure, love, and loss. Frieza destroyed the Saiyans because he feared the possibility of the Super Saiyan, a Saiyan with power that could rival his own. But perhaps Bardock's transformation was more than simply a what if. He had begun to take the very steps his son later would to achieve the form. Perhaps if Frieza had hesitated, even for a moment, his fear would have manifested before him right then and there.
Damn, pour one out for Bardock, who figured out how to be the truest Saiyan right at the end of it all. I know Kakarot would be proud. Hey, shout out to everyone who believed in us during our recent
thank you.
crowdfunding.
And joining
Thank
you in
you,
that support
yes.
is the first ever sponsor for an independent death metal episode, Manscaped.
Manscapes.
Ow,
We're
ow,
doomed.
Get
ow.
that.
Spot.
Shut.
Realize that's for helping. Oh.
The data through all
Okay. Bardock in his pod is faster. But that's in his pod. And that also would leave him vulnerable to, shall we say, getting Paragust? Both of them can destroy a planet. We know that it took Nolan 3 people to do it. I have to twist my hand towards the camera. But it's unknown if all 3 were needed, at least as far as this. I don't know. I've never seen or read Invincible, so I don't know for sure if they say any of that. I don't know if the 3 of them were needed or if any one of them could have on their own. I do remember Vegeta just standing there in his pod and just kind of casually pointing at Arlia, and it exploded. I mean, you've seen how my primary memory is the abridged version, but they didn't, like, the footage is still pretty similar to the actual. Remember, I haven't seen much of Dragon Ball. I've read Dragon Ball. I have the entire series from the original to the end of Z. I admit I'm a bit unfamiliar with most things that happen after that. I know there's the Tournament of Power. I know it drove Latin America absolutely insane during live showings, and Toei was like, you can't do that. And Latin America was like, fuck you, make me. Oh, it was fantastic. Anyway, oh gosh. Nolan sounds a hell of a lot more durable. He can travel between planets on his own. He needs to hold his breath, but he can do it, where Bardock needs a pod to do so. Bardock can't breathe in space either. He can go out to, like, the outer atmosphere and breathe there, but he can't actually breathe in space, like, if he were to completely leave the atmosphere, and that's where he has that confrontation with Frieza. But Saiyans don't have that ability. Apparently they would have the ability to draw oxygen from the outer atmosphere, which is far beyond the capacity of a human, but he can't breathe in space. Technically, we're always in space. Okay, because the issue is, if Bardock destroys a planet, he's not going to be able to survive that. Unless he can escape in his pod. However, Nolan would survive that as well. All he has to do is take a nice deep breath and follow that pod. Either of them could destroy the planet, honestly. And okay, so how I'm seeing this play out is that Planet Vegeta gets destroyed. Or I think they're on planet. I don't know what planet they're on. The planet they're on gets destroyed. Bardock escapes in his pod. Omni-Man follows him, and Paragus is him. Or I've been watching Definitely Not Definitive play Asura's Wrath. So, oh shit, what's the name of the little shriveled guy? You know, the weakest of the 70s. You know, Asura does that to him too. Because, again, he tries to escape in a space pod. Hang on a second. Okay, Calro, that's his name. I looked it up. Okay, it's going to drive me nuts. Okay, so, for right now, I'm going to go with Omni-Man simply because of their survivability in space.
Possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
You know, something I've noticed, there are no host segments. Okay, so this is just a random planet. Unless this is Viltrum.
Great. Another gross bug planet.
Okay, so it's not Takahata. That's fine.
This planet isn't anyone's to conquer.
Okay.
Don't underestimate me!
And fight! So this is the planet with this bug white. Okay. Good to know. Well, they were doing all those counts on how they built them.
Just like my son, sticking his nose in places he's not ready for.
Yeah.
My son would kick his ass!
And what if there's an infant? Dodge. Oh, yeah. I remember he was casually carrying that thing with one hand. Oh, it blew up!
Whatever you are, you're an embarrassment.
Oh, shit.
Wait till you see the real power of a Saiyan.
I wonder if no one's ever seen anything like
Am I supposed to be impressed?
I mean, maybe. I've seen the cover art for the track. I haven't listened to the track. The cover art had the big monkey fist versus the red glove. Oh! Snap the tail right off! Now that grossed him out. That actually caught him by surprise.
Shit.
Beat him with his own tail. That's fantastic. Son.
No. My sons need me. I won't let you take me
Really?
from my war.
He's breathing in space here. He is very clearly breathing in space. He's not supposed to be able to do that like I went over earlier. Can he do that? Can he deflect energy weapons? Or energy beams? Did they cover that? It's an interesting effect on the hair, but
Your time is up!
I don't remember that ever actually happening. Punch him into the sun! No.
You said Saiyan. Remember it.
Oh dear. Bye, Bardock. Idiot.
Fuck.
Gokus have got to stop picking fights with guys in capes.
Pitting Saiyan against Viltrumite is fascinating. Among the many similarities, 5 specific categories stand out.
Starting with speed. Bardock is much faster.
Yeah, Bardock's feature sight from his original appearance was non-influential due to its unreliability and inconsequential influence on presently occurring events. Yeah, he only saw, like,
in his power
well
level
over a
meant
decade
Goku
into the
dodging
future.
asteroids at 9.5 trillion times light speed, much higher than the Viltrumite's fastest speed. Add on the 50 times multiplier from Super Saiyan, and it's a huge.
Omni-Man could possibly scale to Universa, who flew from beyond the observable universe to Earth and back in under a day. Holy fuck! 34 trillion times the... Bardock would still exceed such speed with Super Saiyan.
Right, Bardock clearly has the speed advantage, but strength and durability
on the
are another
pod.
story.
Though it doesn't seem like it at first, Bardock scales to King Veggie, who wrecked 3 planets at once, and Omni-Man only smashed 1. But given how big that one planet was, the numbers are actually pretty similar.
Note the numbers listed do not include division between participants, as equal effort is uncertain. Yes, that's what I was bringing up.
Until
We don't
we
know
factor
if
in
they
the
could have
Super
done it on
Saiyan
their
boost,
own.
right?
Well, there's a catch. A major plot point in Invincible involves the coalition of planets admitting that their weapons cannot hurt Viltrumites.
So, when their ship's cannon obliterated this gigantic solar disk, it highlighted just how tough the Viltrumites really are.
This disk completely blocked the sunlight and heat between a planet and its star, and this is no ordinary planet.
The cannon that destroyed the disk has a smaller diameter than the body of a Viltrumite. Really? So the blast's large surface area at a distance would not impact scaling. Conquest also destroyed the ship later, despite the fact that it can withstand its own firepower, again cementing Viltrumites as superior.
Its size and density are so high that its inhabitants are as...
The size of these beasts was deceiving. They were barely twice my size. I've battled creatures 10 times their size with infinitely less effort. The planet they inhabit caused them to evolve into such tough creatures. The gravitational quotient of this unnamed planet was so severe they had to be stronger than most to simply be able to move. They were
as strong as Viltrumites just due to living in its natural gravity.
Nice.
To fully block the light to such a planet and remain in consistent orbit, the disk would need to be positioned at its L1 point, the spot that creates an uninterrupted view between sun.
Location that makes an uninterrupted view of a star and body satellite ensures the disk and planet remains in consistent position to the star.
Satellite. And the disk itself must be about half the diameter of the star in question. This means the scaling of the disk...
More pausing. Weapons that can kill Viltrumites, such as the Infinity Ray, have greater feats like causing supernovas. This also applies to Viltrum's destruction, which could have been deadly due to the core's heat, the Infinity Ray, and the speed at impact. Well, I mean, it was pretty fucking deadly.
At 3 septillion
not to
tons.
the 3 of them in there.
That's 24 zeros.
Which makes Omni-Man over 11,000
Oh my god, so many pop-ups. Examining this another way, the high end for King Vegeta's planet bust is 2.8 quintatons, putting Bardock's max potential at 7,704 quintatons. The disk feat's high end is 120,000 quintatons. Okay.
I'm stronger than base Bardock.
Not even the Great Ape or Super Saiyan forms could make up that difference. So strength goes to Nolan.
Hang on a
Great
second.
Ape or Super Saiyan forms
Rana
could make up that
tons?
difference.
I'm learning
So
all kinds
strength
of new-
goes to Nolan.
Still, numbers aren't everything as far as versatility and
Hang on, I'm gonna freaking look this up. Okay. Oh, no, I do not wish to subscribe. Okay, 1 Rana is the equivalent of 1 octillion of something. 1 quitta is the equivalent of 1 nonillion of something. Oh, my lord.
in combat goes, neither had one distinct advantage that could win outright.
Omni-Man survives in space for much longer, but Bardock barely squeaks out the edge here thanks to his ranged versatility with key attacks and, of course, Super Saiyan.
Okay, let's address the Super Saiyan Bardock thing. It's perfectly fair to question whether or not the form should be in this comparison at all. However, even with the form
'Cause it didn't
included,
fucking matter.
Nolan still takes this, especially when it comes to our last 2 categories, experience and stamina.
Yep, Omni-Man's been around a lot longer than Bardock, over 2,000 years. years.
Yeah.
And even with Super Saiyan, Bardock's no master of the form.
Got
And
almost
without
no
that
training.
mastery, the
Regardless of Bardock's own endurance, even with his tail, the Super Saiyan form requires extensive training to improve its power and efficiency over extended periods.
form drains the user's energies at an increased rate, which brings us to what may be Omni-Man's most surprising advantage.
Those weird smart atoms.
Saiyans like Bardock can fight for days on end, but only for so long. Bardock possesses a limited pool of ki, which only depletes faster when using super forms like the Great Ape. In contrast, Omni-Man's biology prevents him from tiring in most cases, letting him travel across whole galaxies for weeks non-stop. And his smart atoms adjust to counter whatever physical strain he's subjected to.
Bardock's crazy speed and power made him a real challenge.
But Nolan's strength, experience, and sheer endurance presented an unstoppable.
Hang on. Special thanks. Am I on here? Am I on here? I do not see my name on there. I do not see my real name on there either.
Unstoppable and unshakable force
I
that
gave
would
it the
inevitably land the
thanks.
killing blow.
When push came to shove, Omni-Man raised the Bardock.
The winner is Omni-Man.
Next time on Death Battle.
Yeah, I was already spoiled for this.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
All right. Well, let me switch. There we go. Hi. It was good. It was a nice return to Death Battle. I feel like Omni-Man's final line could have been a lot better. I feel instead of fuck, it could have been just like, idiot. Because that's what he'd think. He'd think of Bardock as like, oh, that thing kind of gave me it'd be like a paragraph in his journal. Like the entry about the high gravity creatures. He'd be like, wow, dear diary, you'll never guess the shit this monkey pulled today. I don't even think he's going to need to go to a doctor. I think he's just going to go down, have a nap, and try to figure out what to do with that giant tail that's still flopping around somewhere. Goodness gracious. He's probably going to ask around, any of you guys know what planet that shit came from? They need to come down with a good case of explosions. Is it contagious? Quite. I'm sorry, that exchange doesn't... It's from DBZ Abridged, but it doesn't have anything to do with Bardock. So I had fun. My original guess before the Raptor spoiled it. I'm in his Discord, and he did a at everyone to advertise his prediction video. My guess was going to be the next one was either going to be Kratos versus Asura, because it seemed the clip they showed before seemed more finished than Bowser versus Eggman. But I mean that was just the intro, so we don't know how the fight's going. Or they said there were two battles that they hadn't revealed, so it was going to be one of those. So hey, it ended up being one of those. So hey, well, how about that? So I am really, really glad to be back. I am very glad, even though it took me forever to set up. Couldn't figure out where my headphones were. Turns out they were behind a pillow. I don't understand that. I couldn't figure out where my webcam was. My mom put it in the dining room for some reason. I mean, I'm in the dining room right now, but she put it like over on the cabinet. I don't get it. Anyway, I just want everyone to know that I appreciate you. I'm really happy to be back doing Death Battle reactions, because I'm really glad the Death Battle is back. I don't know anything about Giorno. I only know a little about Joker. I know in the metaverse, if you believe something is real, then it's real. So he has an airsoft gun that functions as a real gun. It's about like perception, but I don't know. Does Bjorno deal a lot with things like that? I really should get around to JoJo someday, if only because there's a reference to my favorite band in it, even though it got changed in English and I don't know why. I cannot imagine that any member of Oingo Boingo would actually have a problem with characters being named after them. Like, there were characters on Archer named Oingo and Boingo. So why did the dubbing company think, oh, we can't do what this American cartoon has already done? I don't frickin' know. I would like to thank you all for rejoining me. If you're only here for Death Battle, I want you to check out some of my other videos. I have 2 very cute parrots. You probably hear Athena in the background right now, my African Grey. She's very loud. As I said, she was getting under the couch, so I had to put her in her cage. And Sonic has been sitting here next to me the whole time, and there has been some poop that she has not gotten rid of. It's just clinging to her side. Like, it's so... Yeah, I'm talking about you, huh? She perked up when I started saying that, and it's like, dude, she's a little puffy because it's cold in here. I keep turning up the heat, and it's not working. We got new heat put in, heating and cooling, and it's just bleh. Anyway, I will see you all later. Until next time, I'm Blackjack Gabbiani, and I am just really glad to be back. Toodles.